And you're welcome back to the news at 10, coming to you live from Abuja. Despite the arrival of a new commissioner of police for Lagos State, the change of guard has been stalled. According to the outgoing commissioner of police, Imohimi Edgar, there is a new directive from the police headquarters, Abuja, that status quo is to be maintained. The new commissioner, Kayode Egbetoku, had arrived at the headquarters for the ceremony only to be informed of the new directive.
Job is about order and directives. We were about concluding the handing and taking over procedure when we were instructed bosses from Abuja to suspend that for now. So there was no change of guard for now. Of course, we'll keep the press briefed. But I'm happy, humbled that you find this office, you find it serious enough for you all to come and somehow witness what we are doing here. I consider it a honor. Nothing has changed. That honor is reciprocal. So thank you all. I know you're all busy, so let me leave you to continue with the schedule. I'll be talking to you guys later on.
Afterwards, Mr. Egbetoku departed the command headquarters with his own convoy amidst jubilation from Mr. Edgar's men who fired in the air. In the midst of the celebrations, one of the police drivers attempted a stunt with his vehicle, but one of his colleagues fell off in the process and the car ran over his leg. As the clock ticks towards the general elections in February, political parties have used the platform offered by the Center for Democracy and Development to spell out their anti-corruption plans. This is in keeping with the theme of the presidential debate organized by the Center today, which is corruption and accountability. Present at the debate were candidates of the PDP, the YPP, ACPN, the AAC, and the ARNP, while the ruling APC was absent. Our correspondent Kayla Megwa reports.
We have to mention names. There's nothing we can do about it because people destroyed this country. They have names, they are driving cars, they register the cars, they are living in mansions on our back. And we are here saying, don't talk about them. I'm sorry.
It's a rule of the debate, sir.
We have to talk about them.
If you are part of this debate, you have to keep the rule of the debate. I'm afraid. You have to keep the rule of the debate. That's the rules of the debate.
The rules cannot preclude
yes,
us talking
it
about
got
them.
heated. The focus of this debate is corruption and how to ensure accountability on the part of public officials. How the political parties represented here assess its impact on development and what strategies they have in place to tackle it if they come into power.
Anything for the boys?
After a brief documentary on its endemic nature in Nigeria called Anything for the Boys, the candidates here got the chance to reel out their plans against corruption.
The third level of our own intervention is, of course, consequences. The problem with Nigeria and fighting corruption is that we do not deliver consequences on corrupt people.
There has to be a deliberate, conscious effort to conscientize and mobilize Nigerians to own their country.
If anything was going to solve corruption in this country, technology is going to be very, very central. Like we say, technology doesn't lie. Mathematics doesn't lie. It's when human beings interfere that they begin to do all sorts of things.
Do you consider this?
The interactive session with the audience was next, and the contestants gave their final words on the issue of corruption. A notable point during the debate was the absence of the All Progressives Congress candidate or representative, and some audience members told us how they felt about that.
The APC missed an important opportunity to show that it's a party committed to the fight against corruption.
If you ask them what their achievements really are, they will put corruption as #1 on the table. being absent after more than 1 month notice.
It is unfortunate that they missed that opportunity to actually speak to the people using this platform.
Political parties across board have committed to an issue-based campaign. However, did the candidates at this debate speak to the issues?
Where they were a bit weak was when the final question was asked on so much corruption in party primaries. All of them tried to wiggle out of the question.
The inability of the parties to actually zero down to the nitty-gritty of what the issues are.
Yeah, they tried within their limited capacity and within the time available. So these are things that we need to do better in terms of creating more room for the candidates and the party to speak for a longer period on the issues.
Well, there you have it. The big debate, corruption and accountability. The choice now falls on the voter. Were your questions answered the way you wanted them to be answered? Will these candidates be able to deliver the promises that you need to grow your country? That will be determined when the 2019 elections come to a close. Kayla Megwa, Channels Television News.
That's all from Abuja. Back to you, Joma.
All right, thanks a lot, Linda. Well, we're going to stay with politics as the People's Democratic Party in Oyo State has taken its campaign to Ibarakwa East local government area with a promise that education will receive 10% allocation of the state's annual budget when he becomes governor. The governorship candidate of the party, Seyi Makinde, gave the assurance while addressing teachers and students of tertiary institutions in the area. He also promised that the issue of water supply in Irua town will be looked into.
The motorcade of the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party enters Ibarakwa local government area of Oyo State, where he is received by a crowd of supporters. The team stops over to pay homage to the traditional rulers of Maya, Lalate, Irua and its neighboring villages. The traditional ruler of Irua, Samuel Adegbola Akindele I, wants the governorship candidate to look into the issue of water challenge in the community.
We're
all aware that Irua and its environs has water issue. When you support us and we get to government, we'll do something positive about the Irua Dam and ensure that water gets to homes. Also, we will not cede any land belonging to Ibarakwa people for ranching at all. As the governor, I promise not to sign any CFO for ranching at all.
The next port of call is the town hall, where he meets with students and lecturers from the College of Education Lalate and the Polytechnic Ibadan Irua campus. One after the other, they pour out their minds.
What improvements would you like to make regarding your leadership skills towards the welfareism of Oyo State students generally?
In his response, the PDP flag bearer promises that if elected, his administration will ensure education is given maximum attention.
The first budget that I will prepare as the executive governor of Oyo State by God's grace will be about 10% of that budget for education.
The campaign enters into the night, but that did not stop Seyi Makinde from meeting with artisans, the Muslim community, pensioners, and a host of other stakeholders. He gives an assurance of running an all-inclusive government if given the opportunity to govern.
Now, in Kwara State, north-central Nigeria, political parties will have to find alternative ways to woo voters as the state government has banned street rallies and campaigns. In a statewide broadcast to Kwara indigents, Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed tied his decision to the violence among political parties over the last few days, which led to injuries and destruction of property.
As you are aware, political campaigns have commenced ahead of the general elections. In keeping with the tradition in our state, these campaigns were expected to be robust but peaceful. Unfortunately, what we have witnessed instead is an increasing resort to criminality as a result of heightened political activities with a consequent threat to law and order. Let me make it clear, we will not let our state slide back to the dark era of fear and violence. No individual, group, or political party will be allowed to disrupt the harmony that defines us as a people. In this regard, let there be no doubt that the full weight of the law will be brought to bear on perpetrators of the violence we have witnessed. Anyone found to have either contributed to the recent violence or apprehended for involvement would be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, no matter their status, background, or political affiliations.
Meanwhile, the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Kwara State, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, has described the ban on rallies by the state government as undemocratic and targeted at the APC. Mr. Abdulrazak criticized the measure when he visited some victims of recent political violence in Ilorin, the state capital. The APC candidate said the PDP has made all efforts to frustrate their campaign, but assured that they will not be deterred by the ban.
All efforts to frustrate our campaign. They started by attacking our rallies. You note that they've had many rallies. There's not been any violence in any of their rallies. But the moment we step out to campaign, they attack us. We launch our billboards. They try to use the government organization, Kwasa, to bring them down. They couldn't succeed. And they would send talks to bring it down. So our message is resonating. It's not about APC candidates anymore. It's a movement in Kwara now.
From politics, let's take a look at some business news. Here's Anne Waudu.
You first. First Bank.
Thank you, Ijoma. Let's begin business news tonight with oil prices. They have climbed higher from earlier session today on optimism over China's plan to introduce policies to stabilize the world's second largest economy. Oil price benchmark Brent crude oil futures jumped by 2.6% to $60.38 a barrel, up from 62 cents, while U.S. WTI crude surged 3.2% to $51.11 a barrel today. Output cuts from the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and Russia and other producers, including, have also begun to reduce fears of oversupply, while surveys indicating U.S. crude stockpiles are likely to fall next week. This also added to support on prices. Crude prices fell more than 2% on Monday after data showed weakening imports and exports in China, raising new worries about a global slowdown. The British pound rallied back from a sharp drop on Tuesday after traders digested a UK parliamentary vote that shut down a proposed Brexit deal from Prime Minister Theresa May. The pound was up marginally at 1.28 against the dollar as at 9:21 p.m. today, after falling more than 1% immediately after the vote. UK citizens voted in favour of leaving the European Union in June 2016, a decision that sent ripples across global financial markets. Since then, the pound is down more than 14% against the US dollar. The UK government now has just 3 working days in the parliament to present a revised deal. Performance at the domestic stock market has ended today's session stronger in the green. Investors are remaining very cautious as political jitters ahead of the 2019 elections continue. Let's join Edidiong Evan for more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Now, the positive trend at the stock market enters the second day with the all share back above the 30,000 level as more bargain hunting pushed total market higher by 64 billion naira. The overall 0.58% gain in today's session was largely driven by some mid-cap components from the insurance and industrial goods sectors, with both counters closing higher by over 3%. On the activity chart, Diamond, GT Bank and UBA are the major contributors to a total of 300.3 million shares worth 3.24 billion naira in over 3,700 deals. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Edidiong Iwang. Back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Edidiong. Leading global stock markets have ended today higher on a combination of higher oil prices and a rally in U.S. tech stocks. And that's despite the rejection of Brexit deal by the British Parliament. Let's see the figures for today. ends business news for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwaudo. It's back to you, Ijoma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Anne. Still ahead on the news at 10, Arsenal goalkeeper and Premier League great Peter Cech announces he'll retire at the end of the season. That's on Sport.